Hey Simone, how are you?
I'm tired.
Why are you so tired?
I was out late last night watching the Colorado football game.
Yeah, that was quite a game. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning to watch them finally pull it out. It's nice to see the win.
Ugh, you and me both.
All right. So what's happening in Boulder?
It is poppin' here in Boulder. Everybody's here. Lil Wayne's here. Gronk's here. The Rock is here.
What else is popping in Boulder?
Ooh, you know what else is poppin'?
What else is popping?
This week's news in clinical AI.
By the way, why were we wearing sunglasses?
Because the Colorado State football coach said that when he talks to adults, he takes his hat and sunglasses off.
I'm not taking my hat off. All right. So I'm Jeremy, General Manager of Solutions at Lucem Health.
I'm Simone, Jeremy's daughter and CU Boulder student.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining me again this week. We've got three topics that we're going to talk about real quick. The first one, I just thought it was sort of interesting. It was a study that some folks released about the number of mentions of ChatGPT in published medical articles. And the study said something like in 9 months, there have been as many mentions of ChatGPT in published clinical journal articles as 1,000 in 9 months. And it took Google 14 years for there to be 1,000 mentions of Google after the launch of Google in clinical journals. So if anybody had any question about how excited people are about AI and its impact on healthcare, there's one part of your answer, that there have been over 1,000 journal articles that already have cited ChatGPT. Are you hearing about it on campus?
About AI, absolutely. Everybody's talking about AI. It's required in all of my professors' syllabi to put in a section about AI.
That's pretty impressive. I suppose it's the future, which
Yes,
is
sir.
probably the corniest thing we could possibly say here on this show. I guess it's the future.
Whatever works.
Neither one of us got much sleep last night. The second topic that we're going to cover is a really interesting study that came out of Taiwan about a device for predicting whether patients have sleep apnea. The problem is that diagnosing sleep apnea is pretty challenging. In fact, you have to go and do an overnight sleep study, which is no fun for a lot of people, and it's a real barrier. So this device will essentially record a patient just taking a few breaths in a few different ways into the device. And then in about 10 or 15 minutes, that device the software tells you whether you are more likely to have sleep apnea. So it means that it helps providers target patients for more in-depth screening so that they can make better use of their limited sleep study resources and better target patients who might need help for sleep apnea.
I love that they're making it more accessible.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge use of clinical AI just to help identify patients who will really benefit from more costly or cumbersome screening procedures.
Yeah, you know what else only takes about 10 to 15 minutes these days?
What?
It only takes about 10 or 15 minutes to have somebody bring up the Colorado football team to me.
Yeah, I bet, especially in Boulder. And frankly, these days, it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes for any member of our family to ask me whether you got tickets to a football game. In fact, it only takes about 5 minutes for somebody to ask me whether you can get somebody tickets to a football game.
And it only takes me 30 seconds to tell them absolutely not.
Really? 30 seconds? Should take 2. No, I can't. Anyway, so that was an interesting study. We'll link to that in the video podcast notes. The third study that came out a couple of weeks ago, actually, from OSF Healthcare, which is based in Peoria, Illinois. This was sort of on the other side of clinical AI, looking at patients who are admitted to the hospital and identifying patients who, at admission, may be at higher risk for dying while they're in the hospital. And so by using this AI model, they can identify patients who look like, hey, there's a higher than average risk that you may die while you're in the hospital as part of this admission. And if you don't have an advanced care plan, we can get that advanced care plan in place. We can work with you, prioritize talking to you about your end of life wishes, get that plan in place, and then your family and your clinicians and you have the peace of mind knowing that you're taken care of, that your wishes will be followed. So it's a really interesting use of AI, of clinical AI, on the other end of life, where the goal is good patient outcomes for the end of their lives, which is something that's going to happen to all of us.
Is your dying wish for me to stop making fun of you on a daily basis?
No, I think if you stop making fun of me, it probably means you're dead. So my dying wish is actually that you get me 2 tickets to the Colorado USC football game.
Well, you and everybody else in our family, boy, so it's not going to happen.
Hey, Simone, thanks for joining me today. This was a lot of fun. Let's go Buffs.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
You bet.